everyone. I hope you guys are doing well. I hope you guys are enjoying what you can about this quarantine while it's lasting. I know I definitely am. Me and my sister, we made like a chocolate cheesecake this week, and I kid you not, I ate like half of that thing. And it was not a small cheesecake. It was like this big around. It was huge, and I probably ate like half of it. So I'm definitely trying to enjoy what I can about this quarantine while it's still, in place and I can do the things that I like to do, like eat cheesecake. It's like every time I open the fridge, you'd be like, oh, cheesecake. That sounds good. And it was really bad, you guys. It was really bad. But anyway, we've made it through another week. Congratulations. I hope you guys are feeling okay. Last time I made a video, we talked a little bit about 2 Timothy 1:7. And how we are not given a spirit of fear, but we are given a spirit of power, love, and self-discipline. And we talked a little bit about how we can use this verse in the situation that we are in now, how we can put our trust and faith in God because He has all the power and He knows everything that's going to happen, how we can show love to our families, while we're all kind of stuck together, and how we can have self-discipline by using our time wisely and with purpose. And I also asked you guys to read Psalm 23. I hope you guys did, because it's a really good one. You can't really lose anything by reading it. It's really good. It's one of the really famous ones. Like if you read it, you'll know it. Like you've heard it before. It's the one about the shepherd, how God is our shepherd. And it was really short, so I hope you guys read it because it's really good. And you could have gotten a lot out of it. So today I'm going to be talking about a little short Bible story, but background information. So I really like this worship band called Rend Collective. Rend Collective. If you guys want to look them up, you should, because they have they're a really unique band. They have a really unique sound, but they also make really, really cool songs that I really like. And a lot of their songs actually have spoken to me a lot about the situation that we're in now, and they've kind of helped me process through it a little bit and still keep my faith in Jesus and everything. So if you want to look them up, they're really, really cool. They're Irish. They're awesome. Anyway, so I follow their band on Instagram because they're cool, and they were doing a live worship set a couple days ago. So after they had sung a couple songs, one of the band members gave just like a short little message, and it was really good, and I thought it was really cool. So I'm actually going to be using a little bit of what he said in here. But anyway, so the story I was thinking about is in the book of Acts chapter 16. So the book of Acts, we know, is in the New Testament. It comes right after the Gospels. So it's Matthew, Mark, Luke, John, Acts. And it focuses mainly on the Acts of Paul. So we know that Paul was a really cool dude. He's probably one of the most famous people in the Bible. But he wasn't always Paul. His name at first was Saul, and he actually would persecute Christians. He would put them in prison and all this other bad stuff because he didn't believe Jesus was the Son of God. He didn't follow Jesus. But then we know that through a series of events, he became a Christian. He changed his name to Paul, and he went around starting churches and telling people about Jesus all around. Like, he covered a lot of ground, you guys. It was really cool. And he actually became, one of the most famous people in the Bible and one of the coolest missionaries ever. So we're going to be talking about a little bit about him. When he was starting churches and telling people about Jesus, he made some people a little bit angry. So there were a bunch of times where he would get beaten up, or he would be thrown in prison. He was shipwrecked a couple times. Like, this dude went through a lot, but he still went around telling people about Jesus because he was so motivated, and his heart was so changed by what Jesus had done for him, dying on the cross, and the gospel message had changed him so much. So in Acts chapter 16, verse 16, Paul and his friend Silas get in some trouble. They do that a lot. And they're beaten up and thrown in prison, which doesn't sound like a really good situation, but that's where it gets better. So I'm going to read verses 25 and 26 for you, just in case you don't have your Bibles in front of you right now. So about midnight, Paul and Silas were praying and singing hymns to God, and the other prisoners were listening to them. Suddenly there was such a violent earthquake that the foundations of the prison were shaken. At once all the prison doors flew open and everyone's chains came loose. So when I read this story and I think about our current situation with the quarantine and everything, doesn't it kind of feel like we're in prison a little bit? I mean, not like a literal prison. We can go to the store, we can go on walks and things, but our lives have become really limited in a very short amount of time. So in a way, at least for me, it kind of feels like we've been imprisoned, like we're trapped. But when I read this story and I think about how Paul and Silas were in this situation, I think about how even in the darkness, even in the storm, and even in the quarantine, we can still choose to worship. We can still have joy and hope. We can still give praise to God. Paul and Silas were definitely not at a high point in their lives at this point in the story. They had just been beaten up pretty bad. They were sitting in a dark prison cell. It was not a very comfortable situation, but they still chose to give God praise and glory and to trust in Him, which is really cool. And God showed up, right? The prison walls started shaking. People's chains were breaking off. They were freed. It was really cool. And they actually ended up bringing a guy to Jesus. They converted a man because he saw what had happened. And he was so amazed that they told him about Jesus and he was baptized, and it was really cool. So I just want to encourage you guys to keep that mindset of giving God praise even in the hard times, and to keep your hope and your faith in Him. I also have another verse that I wanted to share with you guys, just to give you a little bit of encouragement. It's Hebrews chapter 12, verses 1 through 3. So Hebrews chapter 12, verses 1 through 3. So Hebrews is also in the New Testament, but it comes a little bit later in the New Testament after Acts and all that. It says, "Therefore, since we are surrounded by such a great cloud of witnesses, let us throw off everything that hinders and the sin that so easily entangles. And let us run with perseverance the race marked out for us, fixing our eyes on Jesus, the pioneer and perfecter of our faith. For the joy set before Him, He endured the cross, scorning its shame, and sat down at the right hand of the throne of God. Consider Him who endured such opposition from sinners, so that you will not grow weary and lose heart." That's a really cool set of verses there, I think. So I just want to encourage you guys to still focus on God and stay away from sin, whatever that looks like to you. And let's run with perseverance. I know this quarantine has lasted a lot longer than I thought it would at first. When they first started canceling schools and everything, I didn't think it was a super big deal, but now the whole country is shut down. So I just want to encourage you guys to run with perseverance. Keep your eyes on Jesus so that you will not grow weary or lose heart. And that's pretty much it for the lesson. I do have an announcement for the middle school group. I will be holding a weekly Zoom meeting on Wednesdays at 7:30. So you can download the app, or there are a couple of different ways that you can do it. I would download the app if you can do that. But you can check the youth Instagram page. I made a post about it on there that you can look at. And there should have been an email that was sent out that has information for how to join on there. Because you have to have like a code or something to get into the meeting. But you can find it. And I'll be sending out reminders too, so we won't forget. I also do have a little bit of homework for you guys again. Yay! It's just to read Psalm 25. I was reading through some Psalms earlier this week, just looking for one to share with you guys, and I just thought this one was perfect. I looked at it and I was like, oh, that's the one. So I just want you guys to read Psalm 25. Because I want to talk with you guys a little bit about it, maybe talk through it, just talk about what you think it means during our Zoom meeting on Wednesday. So try to read it before then. So yeah, I'll see you guys on Wednesday. I'll keep praying for you guys, and I hope you guys are doing well, and yeah, see you guys on Wednesday.